Her Power BI dashboard was not broken. It was working exactly as designed. The problem was that Power BI was never designed for healthcare. If you are a hospital CFO, a director of analytics, or a revenue cycle leader, and the numbers your dashboard reports do not match, the numbers CMS sends you back, this video is for you. We are going to walk through three things. Why Power BI breaks on clinical analytics in ways that are not obvious from the outside. The specific 6-week deployment that took this hospital from 12% off CMS to 0.3% off CMS. And the $4 million in misclassified denials we serviced in the first quarter. The tool we deployed at this hospital is Vizier. Vizier is our healthcare analytics platform. I'm naming it openly because the case study only makes sense if you understand the architecture, and the architecture is the product. Power BI is excellent at what it was built for. Finance, operations, supply chain, things that add up cleanly across a continuous time dimension. Clinical data does not add up cleanly. A 30-day readmission calculation in DAX requires a custom dates table. Calculate with dates and period logic referencing individual discharge dates rather than a continuous date range. Exclusion filtering for planned readmissions against a CMS-published DRG lookup table. And separate handling for transfer chains where a patient moves between facilities within the same admission. The resulting DAX measure is typically 80 to 120 lines. Multiple threads on r/Power BI have documented hospital implementations that were 5 to 15% off from CMS's own published rates for the same hospitals. This hospital was 12% off. They were not unusual, they were typical. The second problem is ICD-10. Power BI has no native understanding of the ICD-10 hierarchy. To filter on heart failure, you either write a DAX measure that uses prefix match logic against I-50, which breaks for non-prefix-based codes, or you maintain a custom lookup table. That table goes stale every October when CMS releases its annual ICD-10 revisions. 300 to 500 code additions, deletions, and changes per year. Every year. Updating the table is somebody's job. When they leave the organization, the dashboard breaks slowly enough that nobody notices for 6 months. The third problem is MIPS. The 2026 MIPS performance threshold is 75. Data completeness threshold is 75%. The measured denominators are specified by CMS and revised annually. A Power BI implementation that hard-codes the 2024 specifications produces a confidently wrong score in 2026. The CFO presents 81 to the board. The actual number is 76 or 74. If the readmission dashboard is 12% off, the denials dashboard is worse. Hospital claim denials are a $262 billion annual problem in the United States, according to CareCloud's May 2026 analysis. 41% of providers are now writing off denials rather than appealing them because the cost of appeal exceeds the recovery rate, and 68% of organizations cite front-end data errors as the leading denial driver. Front-end data errors are not a billing problem. They are an analytics visibility problem. If your dashboard cannot show you that authorization denials cluster around a specific provider, a specific payer, and a specific service line on Tuesdays, you cannot fix the workflow that creates them. A separate study by IQZ Systems found that 72% of healthcare analytics professionals spend more time finding and preparing data than analyzing it. A typical mid-sized payer maintains 24 separate ETL processes, each requiring around 18 developer weeks per year just to maintain. That is roughly 9 engineers spending their entire year keeping ETL pipelines alive so that someone else can build a dashboard that is 12% off. This is the gap Vizier is built to close. Vizier is not a Power BI replacement at the dashboard layer. It is a different architectural choice at the data model layer. ICD-10 hierarchy is native to the query engine. When someone asks, show me heart failure readmissions, Vizier resolves the I50 hierarchy correctly, including the codes that do not follow the prefix pattern, and updates itself when CMS revises the codes in October. The hospital's analytics team never touches it. Readmission windows are native to the model. The 30-day all-cause readmission calculation is one query. not 120 lines of DAX. Planned readmission exclusions reference the current CMS DRG list, maintained by us, not by the hospital. Transfer chains are handled by the query engine. MIPS measures are pre-built against the current CMS specification. When CMS changes the measure denominators in 2026, the measures update. The hospital analytics team does not rebuild them. The interface is conversational. A department head asks which denial reasons increased this quarter and gets the answer in 30 seconds without involving an analyst. The hospital we worked with had been paying 2 full-time analysts to produce monthly denial reports. After Vizier, those analysts are running cohort analyses for clinical quality improvement instead. Same headcount, different work. Direct connectors to Epic, Cerner, Athena, Allscripts, Meditech, Sysmon, and EMIS. No middleware vendor in the chain. BAA in place before any PHI flows. Flat monthly pricing, not per-seat licensing. The deployment at this hospital ran 6 weeks. Week 1, Epic connector configuration. BAA in place by Tuesday. De-identified test extract validated against known historical numbers by Thursday. Production Epic data flowing by Friday. Week 2, readmission dashboard rebuild. Vizier ran its readmission calculation against the same patient population the PowerBI dashboard had been reporting on. The new number was 13.0%. CMS's published number for the same hospital, same period, was 13.1%. The 12% gap closed to 0.8%. Week 3, denial root cause layer. Vizier categorized every denial by root cause: prior authorization failure, medical necessity, duplicate claim, eligibility mismatch, timely filing, coding error, by payer, by provider, by service line, by month. The hospital had been categorizing denials by a single high-level reason code. The new breakdown surfaced patterns the prior system was structurally incapable of showing. Week 4, threshold alerts calibrated to clinical baselines. Denial rate crossing 12%. Systolic BP exceeding 160 across a panel. Specific patterns the analytics team had been discovering at month end. 2 to 3 weeks after the fact, now arriving as alerts in real time. Week 5, MIPS tracking, reconfigured to use the actual 2026 measure specifications. The CFO had been planning around a projected composite score of 81. The corrected projection came in at 76, which still cleared the 75 performance threshold, but with no buffer. That changed how they prioritized Q4 quality activities. Week 6, handover. Vizier's conversational interface meant the handover was a 90-minute training session, not a 6-week change management program. Department heads asking their own questions, CFO running her own ad hoc analyses before the board meeting. 3 numbers from the first quarter after deployment. 1, readmission rate reported to the board is now within 0.3% of the rate CMS publishes for the same hospital and period. The CFO is presenting accurate numbers. The board is making decisions on accurate numbers. 2, the denial root cause layer surfaced $4 million in misclassified denials within the first quarter. Specifically, a cluster of medical necessity denials from a single payer that had been miscoded as authorization failures in the previous reporting. The pattern was visible to Vizier in the first week. It had been invisible to PowerBI for 18 months because the categorization logic lived in someone's DAX measure rather than in the data model. 3, the 2 analysts who had been spending most of their time producing reports are now running cohort analyses for clinical quality improvement. Same headcount, different work. The CFO described it as getting 2 engineers back. The principle is structural, not tooling. Generic BI tools cannot handle clinical analytics, not because they are bad tools, but because clinical logic requires domain modeling at the schema level, not at the dashboard level. PowerBI's DAX layer is the wrong place to encode. ICD-10 hierarchy, readmission windows, and CMS measure logic. Every consultant-built workaround at that layer breaks the next time CMS revises something. The same principle from the first video on EHR migration. The architecture decision is the schedule decision. The architecture decision is also the accuracy decision. The hospital we worked with did not have a Power BI problem. They had a data model problem. Power BI was the symptom. If your Power BI dashboard is producing numbers that do not match the numbers CMS sends back, we can show you the gap in 48 hours. Vizier offers a 48-hour audit. Upload a de-identified claims export. We connect it, run it against the current CMS specifications, and show you exactly where your current implementation is off and by how much. No commitment, no analyst engagement, no procurement cycle, Vizier.health. Link in the description. We have also put the Power BI healthcare failure audit into a checklist. 11 specific tests you can run against your current Power BI implementation to see whether your numbers are reliable before you book the audit. Same as the other videos. Tell us where to send it, and we will. Last video, PCI DSS 4.0.1, and what 9 weeks of remediation actually looks like. This is the algorithm.